This is ANN News Brief.
The ruling Botswana Democratic Party, BDP, has won the general election after securing 29 National Assembly seats. The Chief Justice announced on Friday the ruling party won the needed 29 National Assembly seats in this week's elections to keep President Mogwetsi Masisi in office for another term. This was the tightest election in history in the country after former President Ian Khama broke away and announced his support for an opposition coalition instead. As the race tightened, many had wondered whether the ruling party would be toppled for the first time since the country became independent in 1966. But opposition coalition Umbrella for Democratic Change was well behind with a dozen seats. Observers report Wednesday's election went smoothly in Botswana, one of Africa's most stable countries. African migrants evacuated to Rwanda from Libyan detention centers say they still want to make the dangerous journey to Europe despite the abuse they encountered in Libya. Nearly 200 migrants, mostly Eritreans but also Somalis, Ethiopians and Sudanese, were brought to Rwanda after a September agreement with the African Union. Many of the refugees have horror tales, including paying smugglers more than $5,000 to get them to Europe. Trips that often ended in horror, ones on the Mediterranean Sea, but often capsized, and refugees were often captured by the Libyan Coast Guard. Refugees say what was said to be a United Nations camp turned out to be a detention center where they faced torture and abuse. Women who were held at the Goshara camp say they were beaten and raped by Libyan guards. Now evacuated to a Rwandan transit camp, the UN Refugee Agency, UNHCR, provides the migrants with housing and food. The refugees say they are thankful to Rwanda for bringing them to safety. At least 5,000 more African migrants still remain in the overcrowded Libyan centers where they face abuse. We'll return after this message.
Whether in your house, at your office, on your phone or online, we are there. We have the facts behind the headlines. We cut to the chase with the news you really need. We cover every angle. We are the bigger, better news network. We are African News Network. ANN. Watch ANN News on MITV from a truly African spirit.
Ethiopia's prominent activist Jawar Mohammed has called for calm on Thursday following protests that have killed 16 persons. Demonstrators were challenging Nobel Prize-winning Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed in his political heartland. Mohammed warned his supporters to stay alert while addressing hundreds of them who gathered around his house in Addis Ababa. Since clashes began on Wednesday, people have died in at least 4 cities. Officials said police had fired gunshots and tear gas to break up demonstrations in support of Mohammed Jawar. Mohammed said his security was threatened late on Tuesday after police barricaded his house and told his bodyguards to leave. Hundreds of people quickly gathered in support, causing protests to spread in the capital and to other cities. That is the ANN News Brief. For details on these and other breaking stories, visit our website, annafrica.news. Conversation continues on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. I'm Lucy Adeyemi.